welcome to another episode of By the Railside Podcast movie review. With me today, I have Jeff
Hi.
and Justin,
Hello.
and Jordan's off today. He's not feeling too good, so my name's Zach. This week we reviewed the 2014 thriller Nightcrawler. Um, it's about a guy named Lewis Bloom who starts out in the movie as a thief, just stealing shit, just to make money, and then he realizes that he can make money by capturing photographs and video of crime scenes. And then as the movie progresses, he gets more and more extreme to try and get these shots to make the most amount of money as possible. Stars Jake Gyllenhaal. It was directed and screenplay was done by Dan Gilroy. What did you guys think of the film?
I mean, this movie has no arc, right? Like he's a piece of shit at the beginning and he's a piece of shit at the end. And so for me it was kind of weird that way. Like I kept expecting him to have some kind of comeuppance, like he was gonna get shot or like he would go to jail or something, but like nothing bad ever happens to him. So that felt kind of bad.
Yeah, the movie was kind of like a statement on how morality and ethics holds people back in like business and whatnot, which is reflected in the real world. And uh, most super high-end CEOs have like score high on like psychotic scales and whatnot. But yeah, I was hoping that something would happen to him just for the end of the movie to be like, don't be a douchebag. But then the nice guy, or nicer anyways, guy got killed and he was just like, all right, time to move on.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. Holy Christ, was he autistic? Like that was, he played the character very well, which was awesome to see. But yeah, he was super autistic, and even in the beginning, like you just see that it's almost like I always mix up the difference between like psychopath or sociopath, but he just started out just committing crimes just right off the bat. So you're just like, where is this guy gonna go? And then when he finally gets into this line of work, um, you almost can predict that like he's gonna do something crazy in order to get the money that he wants.
Yeah, I honestly expected it to go a little further, like the him sabotaging the fucking uh competitor's van or whatever to get them to crash. That was, I thought it was going to be like the start of him just setting up crimes and whatnot indefinitely, kind of thing, like him just taking that next step and going further and further down the rabbit hole each time. But then it just, outside of like the very end kind of thing, it just kind of pulled back away from that, and it's just like, okay, then he goes back to just normal stuff until he gets obviously information that leads him farther. But I found that was a bit of a bait and switch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's kind of weird that the FBI like never like did anything with that. They're just like, oh, I guess we're mad at you, but we can't do anything about it. I guess that was kind of weird. But
So you admitted to being in the house of a triple murder and just claimed that it was someone else? Okay, well, you claimed it was someone else. We're just going to take your word for it and not question you at all about it.
yeah, like why didn't they just seize all of his footage and see that he saw those guys like they thought, and that when that one guy was like he was basically dead anyways, but he did move, and he just edited that out and it was like, yeah, they were dead already. So it's like, yeah, I don't know, it's just fucked.
Yeah, I think the like that was kind of a weird call from like a movie perspective to be like, oh, he's still alive, and then not do anything with it. I think the point of that was just to show that the guy was a psychopath, but we already knew that from everything else he did, so it seemed kind of out of place.
Yeah,
I thought maybe they were going to be like, he goes in, oh, they were all dead, there was nothing I could do, and then the FBI was like, bitch, this guy survived. We know you're lying, kind of thing. But then nothing come from it.
Yeah, I kept expecting him to like suddenly like have a change of like when he first saw the one guy in the road um and he goes up on the ridge and then like you can see the shot is just on him and you see his face light up and you're like, "Oh, the guy's still alive or something. He's going to try to help him." And he goes over and just drags the body better into his frame. And I was like, "Jesus, like I was expecting him to be like, oh, I'm gonna help this guy or something," but no, it was just change of frame. And then same thing, he goes into that kitchen and you're like, "Oh, the guy's still alive." No, he doesn't even give a shit. It's just like, oh my god, this character is irredeemable.
Yeah, he was just pure psychopath, right? Or sociopath, whatever one is that one.
Yeah, I probably should have looked it up before I made the comment, but he yeah, doing that, but every time that he would do that sort of stuff, what threw me off the most was the music attached to the scene. Because the music is
Yeah,
like it was like that if someone's like about to like a sports team is coming together, or like the race is going and the guy pulls like he pulled a hammy but now he's coming back and he's gonna win the race. It was almost like that kind of vibe, but it was just him doing more fucked up shit just to get his shot.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say that was the first thing I noted when the movie started was the like hopeful intro music. But
Yeah.
just, no.
Yeah, I think the movie was just like trying to show, not necessarily trying to show, but just like his mindset progression rather than it being like your expectations and the movie kind of reflecting that. The music was more a reflection of like his psyche going deeper into the I don't give a fuck kind of thing.
Yeah, which was the way it went on, and then he just like it was like him running his own business. It almost seemed like throughout the movie, like he just wanted a job. Like that was the only thing he was working for. He was willing to do literally anything for a job. Started out stealing just so that he could get an in with the scrap yard. But then he found this thing. He's just like, okay, well I'll just learn how to do this. And the whole time is just like I just want a job and then a company, and then it just spread from there. So
Well, it says in the beginning of the movie on the radio that there's like a recession and that like 40-60% of people are unemployed or something like that. So like that part made sense, but then yeah, like he clearly doesn't really want like it's weird. Like he says he has all these aspirations of like what he wants to do, but he just lives in a shitty apartment and it seems happy with what he was doing. So it was kind of a weird thing. Like money didn't seem to really be a factor for him, but at the same time it was. Like it drove a lot of his decisions, but he didn't use it for anything other than like the Camaro or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure every time he was talking to literally anyone, he was just lying through his teeth. So you can't take anything he says at face value, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's like a pure like you just tell he was a con man. But he had all these facts to back it up. Also, I think he spent all his money watering his plant. Like
from his glass.
yeah, just that was just constant. But even in his house, you could just tell like he was a psychopath. Just everything was neat, tidy, in order. He had his routines and like everything was organized. It was crazy to see.
I just quickly looked up on WebMD what the difference are.
One has cancer.
Psych Psychopath has no conscience. Sociopath has a weak conscience but doesn't care.
All right, it's definitely psychopath then.
Yeah.
Anything to get forward. What about the? Did you guys get any like fucking hashtag Me Too vibes at that dinner that he had with that lady?
Oh yeah, he was clearly just like raping her, right? Like she
Yeah.
she was doing it as her will, but was being like blackmailed and whatever the fucking word is for
Yeah.
money. I
She
forget
she
what.
was being blackmailed like like every interaction he had, it was like always to get something out of the other person, which is like psychopath behavior. But it was super weird though, because at the end, when she like gets him or when he gets her that last bit of footage, she seems like into it at that point. Like at first I thought that was going to be like a dream or something, the way she was like, yeah, like thank you for bringing it to me and like all this shit. I was like, wait, what? Did you just forget about all the other shit?
Yeah, that seemed really, really kind of out of place without going into it. Like, there's maybe Stockholm syndrome or something, but it's
Yeah.
really weird to not explain that and just be like, yeah, now I love you, or at least am acting like it. If I was that fucking the guy who was helping him,
Rick.
Richard. Yeah, if I was that guy, like a recession's one thing, but I would have been out of there long before
Well, he
anything
was
like that
homeless,
happened.
right? He's homeless.
Yeah, but the guy clearly has issues. $30 a night for risking your life. Like the guy drives like 80 miles an hour in downtown New York or LA or wherever the fuck they are. Like you're gonna die being with this guy, even if it's not because you're breaking the law, like doing crime scene stuff, right? Like that guy was a bit sketch.
I mean, for sure, but I mean, most homeless people have mental illness too. So
Yeah.
Yeah. They suck dick for crack.
yeah, why did they make that random like when he first meets him? He's like, "You turn tricks." He's like, "No, I'm straight." He's like, "Plenty of straight people turn tricks." It's
Yeah.
like, what?
I think maybe that's just to emphasize just that he has no like social cues or anything like that. Like
I
he's just
guess, yeah.
I honestly had no idea what that meant.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
that's
insensitive.
yeah, hooking basically.
Yeah.
When they were following. Okay, so he films the house. He gets in this house where all these people are murdered, and he films it all. Um, and then the guy's freaking out. Rick's freaking out. Runs up the driveway. Did those guys not just like notice a bright red fucking Charger just on the side of the road, and they're just like, huh? And then all of a sudden they're getting followed later on by a bright red Charger, and they're like, huh, that's weird.
You just killed 3 people. You don't look around, man. Come on. Yeah, it's the people in the show are all willfully oblivious to everything the main character does so that the story can go forward.
Yeah. What else did I? Oh yeah. Yeah, that just it blew me away. Other than that, like the film seemed shot well. Um, Jake Gyllenhaal's acting in this was fantastic. Like he really played the character well. Like there was no like I know you guys were waiting for him to like turn a leaf or
I
just
wasn't.
was
I
yeah
was not expecting him to turn.
just to like or like get his dues, but the way he played a psychopath and like an autistic one at that, um, just seemed so good. Like it was a believable character to me.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he did a good job.
The final like chase scene with the like when he's chasing the car down, like that was a really like that whole thing, like right basically as soon as the second squad car showed up, from that scene to like the final, like when the guy gets shot. I think the tension in that whole section was really good. Up until that point, the movie was fairly slow paced for like a thriller, but I think that whole scene or scenes had a good payoff.
Yeah, the spike in like tension during the like triple murder house part, that was like very, oh god, they're right there. Okay, they're gone. Like
Yeah,
there wasn't a lot going on there.
yeah, and then they tried to play off like, oh, there's a dead baby. I'm like, they're not gonna show a dead baby in a movie, so I know there's no dead baby.
Yeah.
I
But
want to know
And
where
I
that
like how they
baby
used
went.
that exact bait and switch in the newscast too. They're like, "Oh my god, there's gonna be a there's no dead baby."
yeah, and then they revealed that it was actually a drug thing. So like, was the baby's room just where the drugs were or something?
I think they said that the drugs were like all over the home. Like it was all just stashed in there. I but it makes me think that the baby's room was like maybe one of the girls had a kid on the way, and like that's why it was all like that, because they didn't run out with a baby, and so it's where's this fucking baby?
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, that was just kind of a weird. Like I get they were trying to just play up like dead kid thing, but yeah, I don't know.
I
But
don't know
the
why they even bothered saying that it was like a drug bust thing, because like, does that really change any aspect of the movie?
No, but it shows the newscast lady Nina actually like falling into that.
Oh yeah, that's right. She said yeah, because after that she said, "I don't give a fuck. That's not the angle we're going with."
Yeah,
yeah, they're all just
That's right.
fucking bloodthirsty vampires. So
which is true. Like the news just
yeah,
that it also played well into that, where the news just wants, like, they need that shock value. They need to get the views. They need to get the clicks, the likes, just the shares, everything. And so
they need
even though this is like in 2014, so nothing like, there's still crazy times then, and social media was super popular, but now it just seems booming now, so it's relatable in that sense, even throughout the years.
need to keep the white women in the suburbs scared.
Yeah, they lost it. I had a joke. It was there, and I was like, oh, it's gone.
It's escaped.
I
Yeah,
Um,
mean,
I didn't think the movie was like terrible from an entertainment perspective. What's that?
huh?
Did you say something?
No, I like it.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you said something. I didn't think the movie was terrible from like an entertainment perspective, but any form of realism was just not there.
what do you mean?
Like with the FBI just being like, "Oh, you were in the crime scene. We're just going to take your word that there was someone else there and you're free to go. We're not going to investigate you in the slightest. We're not going to." I mean, they took a copy that he obviously edited, right? But they just didn't do anything with a guy that was literally in the house where three people were murdered and has video evidence of that. Like,
Yeah, I to me that like that one was like, it was too vague. You almost had to like when I saw it, I was just like, okay, they're asking because they obviously know that he gave footage to the news. Um, but I would assume that, like, you almost have to assume that they did their police investigation, saw like checked the gun for fingerprints, and stuff like that. So I think that's why I didn't dive deep. But the fact that she knew at the end, like, yeah, hey, you're fucking lying to me right now. Like, you knew that these guys, you almost want to, like you have to go bigger into a police investigation just to see, like, hey, he actually searched up all this shit online and stuff like that. But yeah, the cops in it weren't super realism. I think the
A cab,
what?
a cab.
Yeah. um, but I think the newsroom stuff was pretty close to dead on, and even the need to get that shot, like to get the thing that's gonna make you money. I think the drive there was pretty good. But yeah, the
yeah,
cop
but
stuff definitely no.
they don't show that kind of blood and whatnot on TV neither, right?
No, no, no.
A lot of it was really played up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that definitely happens though, like with just like nonstop horrific things happening everywhere, even though, because like, I mean, same thing with like violence and sex sells, right? Like,
Yeah,
firefighter saves puppy doesn't really do a whole lot, kind of deal.
No,
how dare you?
that's for the noon news. Give it to those guys.
I don't understand why the chick, like, maybe it had something to do with like her salary or something weird like that, but like he said she hasn't held a steady job for like, or a steady broadcast station for like 2 years. So why was she, or for more than 2 years, for years now, sorry. So why was she like willing to go to such lengths to keep this one if she's bounced around every other
Because
job she's had
she
for?
had 2-year contracts and her results were never good enough to hold a job, right? So that won't last forever type deal, right? Like eventually someone will be like, all right, we're not even gonna hire you. And she was already at the lowest rated station in the
Yeah.
area, so she was basically like at the end. Like, so that was her motivation, is that she needed the ratings to keep her job or to renew her contract anyways. So I mean that part made sense, but it was just like, yeah, it was weird. Like they had like the one, I'm assuming she was their lawyer or something like that, come into the room. She's like, yeah, ethically this is pretty fucked, but whatever. And then the news chick's PA was just like, we shouldn't do any of this, and she was just like, shut the fuck up, Jerry, or whatever the hell his name was, and that was it.
You're in charge of Twitter, and that's it.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, nice checks and balances we got going on here.
Yeah, and I think because the guy also was like providing them with such good things, so the ratings were actually good. So there was the chance of her re-signing at the time, and then he just picked the most opportune moment where it was just like, "Hey, get on my dick or else," and then you're just like, "Oh fuck."
So with the way it plays out at the end, where he has his own like fleet of trucks and shit like that, like, are we just supposed to infer that like he got the girl too, and like that was just the end of the movie?
Happy ending.
He just gets everything he wants, just being a bag of shit.
Well, the scene before that, she was like tenderly caressing him whilst thanking him. So I suppose
Yeah,
so.
it's fucked.
Cup the balls for a good shot.
Yeah, I don't know. This movie,
I have.
it didn't really. I wouldn't say it didn't. Like, did you guys have any like surprise endings? Because like, I, other than like hoping that he would get something happening to him, like I kind of figured if nothing happened to him, he was definitely going to get his partner killed, which is what happened. So
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say there was any big surprises. Uh, to me, it was most surprising that he didn't take it further. Like I said, when he didn't start setting up his own crimes to get better footage and whatnot. Right. That
Mhm.
that was where I thought it was gonna go.
Yeah, the more like almost like committing the crimes himself just to get the shot. That's where I could have like I watched the movie before like a while ago when it first came out, and I couldn't remember, and I thought that he was actually like eventually did the crimes himself in order to do it. I did find it interesting when like after he sabotaged the guy's van, the guy in the car is like, hey, like why aren't we going to this rape thing that everyone's going to? And he's just like, no, we're going to this van crash. And you're just like, why is he going to a fucking van crash? And then you see it and you're like, he like literally wants to see what he did in action.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And he knew like it would be horrific because he cut the brake lines.
Well, why didn't that guy hit the brakes any time before that? Like, how close was that to his house? Or did he just get, like, all green lights until that moment where he was like, oh, no?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. There are parts of California that are definitely like very steep, though, so it's possible he could have been going for a while. I think that's mostly San Fran, but who knows?
Yeah. Um, how do you.
What do you guys think of the choice to not have like a traditional happy ending?
I actually appreciate it. Like, I prefer that. Like, I I every once in a while I enjoy it just because you get all these ones where like oh all of a sudden like if you go to the superhero movies like oh yeah okay we know that the hero's gonna win, or the good guys are gonna prevail or something bad's gonna happen to the bad guy in the movie. It's nice having that, like it almost adds that extra shock value to you since you're um, so conditioned to expect the good guys to win. It's nice to see like a movie like that, even though like it sucks because like that guy's a dickhead, but it was good to see a change of pace where you're just like, okay, the bad guys are actually winning.
I mean, I would argue it kind of is a good ending from the bad guy's perspective. It's just that's who our protagonist is. But yeah, it's definitely like you expect the standard movie formula of like something, there's some kind of arc, some kind of growth, and that the main character is different at the end of the movie than when he started or something like
He
that.
is
But
different. He's got a Camaro thing now.
yeah, he's more wealthy, but he didn't grow like at all, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I for the way the movie went, like if they weren't gonna have anything bad happening to him, then yeah, I think him having a happy ending basically is good. But yeah, it's just, I mean, about an hour into the movie, I think is when that first uh when he drags the body into frame. It was about the halfway mark, I think, and I was like, okay, this is when it's either going to change or it's not, and then it didn't. So
Yeah.
he just kept doing fucked up shit, and I was like, all right, I guess we're just going down this road. But
Yeah, I definitely enjoy it when it comes up. I don't think I'd want it in like every single movie because then it'd just be like having a happy ending. It becomes what you expect. But I definitely like I appreciate movies that have a good bait and switch in it or a good twist instead of just everything's exactly as you expect it.
for sure.
Which I
um
think is probably why I don't like most mainstream movies because outside of like, oh no, random side character died, you can basically just count off everything that's going to happen.
yeah, I mean, that's what was really good about Game of Thrones in the early seasons anyways, is that they weren't afraid to just murk characters that they had to develop for hours and hours. So
Yeah.
um but yeah, I don't, what was that movie that came out, was it around the same time? It was uh it was about it wasn't about the same thing, but it was like a edgy movie with the Drive, is that what it was called, where it like smashes the guy's face in with a helmet.
I have no
Do you know the
idea.
one I'm talking about, Zach?
Smash his face with a helmet.
Drive. Oh, that came out in 2011. Okay, I'm way off. I thought they came out around the same time, but I guess I'm wrong.
Yeah, I tried to Google it and it just brought up Google Drive. I don't know why.
Yeah, you probably have to put movie at the end. But yeah, it was the Jake Gyllenhaal one. I was just gonna say they were kind of similar movies, but um, I did, sometimes similar movies will come out around the same time, just the way the culture works. But I guess I was way off on the timing, so never mind.
Yeah, I can't. There's a movie in my head that's just like didn't have a happy ending, but it was still that's a good solid topic of videos that we could watch at a later time, just because it's awesome. I just like that. Where there's no winning or the good guys just like fucked all the time.
Well, there's lists of movies that don't have happy ending.
Yep.
It happens, I wouldn't say frequently, but relatively frequently in like the horror movie genre.
Yeah, looking through this list, most of them are.
Yeah. Oh, looks like one of the ones that's on this list is also on our list for mindfuck movies. So once we get to The Machinist, apparently that's going to be a sad
I
ending.
chose that one.
Um, what do you guys think of that line of work? So it's actually a real line of work, being a stringer. That's been around for a while, where it's literally just the freelance journalist. It can be either journalist, like photographer, videographer, anything like that, who tries to sell their stuff to the news.
I mean, I think it has a place, but I I mean, I'm not a fan of capitalism, and that's just it's gonna work out that way. Like the more gritty or the more like shocking thing you can get in, if there's an open market for it, then it's gonna promote people to do fuck shit. So I mean, I don't know what it's like in the real world, and like how much footage they get, and then the news goes like, no, this is too fucked up, we can't show it. But I mean, if they're actually interfering with like paramedics trying to save people and whatnot, then fuck that. But I mean, a lot of those things do need to be reported in certain situations for like, hey, there's fucking traffic on this thing because a car blew up or whatever. But like, do I need to see the person exploded? Not really.
Yeah, I think that I hate mainstream media in general because it is just negativity. That's all it is. Uh, I don't really see how for me anyways, getting like pictures or video of an accident or of a car crash or of like the person whose house got shot up. I don't see how that adds to a story in the slightest. Like, okay, now you see that the house that they're not just making it up. Like, I don't really understand it. I think that the whole thing is just like unnecessary, and the fact that it makes so much money is disappointing from like a society standpoint.
Yeah, but now I don't even think that line of work can work well nowadays. Like newscasts, newsrooms, I'm pretty sure will pay for it. But if you don't get the price you want, you just throw it online. Like there's so many news outlets and there's so much shit. And as soon as it's up and you put it up in one online spot, and who knows, you can just if you don't watermark your stuff, but um, and I think it just pushes people, almost like in this movie, where it just pushed Jake Gyllenhaal's character just to do more fucked up shit just to get the right thing.
I mean, the way I would see it going in the future would be someone owns like a fleet of drones, and just like anytime there's something, you just send your drone there because the cameras are so good now, you don't really need to be that close. So other than like drones having restricted airspace and shit like that, but like I'm pretty sure in the future that all that shit's going to get lifted because Amazon's going to be flying drones all over the place. So I don't. That would be the way I think it goes. Is that there's just drones everywhere, and like everything that happens is recorded in some way.
I think that like this kind of shit, like Zach said, already happens a lot where people push themselves farther and farther to do stupid shit. I mean, just look at any vlogging YouTuber. Even if they start out just like relatively normal, once they get so big, they just do the stupidest shit.
Yeah, they run out of ideas for sure.
Are you saying David Dobrik does stupid things for views?
I have no idea who that is, but the one that come to my mind was fucking what is his name? Jake Paul or something going and filming
Oh
dead
fuck.
bodies in the suicide
That was
forest.
his brother Logan.
Sorry, the same person basically.
Jake got raided by the FBI. But thank you for bringing that up. I could put it in the title. We'll get views. It's awesome.
That's fucked up, man. Can't believe you'd go to that extreme.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of weird like how that shit works too, because even in the terms of YouTube, like YouTube thumbnails, like with generic shocked face, generally will increase your views by like 20-30% or something crazy like that.
Yeah, it's consumer psychology and the fact that most people are just fucking idiots.
Yeah, everyone wants to see either something fucked up or someone doing something fucked up. Mostly doing, because then there's a chance they get hurt. And God, that's funny. I watching people get hurt online, falling off bikes and shit. That's the stuff. Or catching a bike to the head.
Oh god damn it.
Yeah, that is my favorite video for sure. Yeah, I mean we got them monkey brains.
Yeah. Now
Yeah,
with
I just don't understand like why it continues to work. Like the fact that when YouTube first started blowing up, okay, people started like, oh, if we put clickbait titles and clickbait things, it'll grab people's attention. Okay, makes sense. But now that it's been around for so long, why do people keep falling for clickbait? Like, you should know what it is by now. if I see something with like a clickbait title or a clickbait fucking thumbnail or anything like that, especially if it's in like all caps and bullshit like that, I go out of my way not to click on it because I just fucking hate it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just um, there's a market for like people that don't want to do that, and they kind of go into their areas of the internet. But like, it definitely seems like the large uh, general population is just it just works on their brain. I mean, sex sells, and that's just like instinct basically. So I mean, I would guess it pulls on the same instincts of something. Human
I hate
psychology.
people.
Yeah. Now with like Justin was saying, with the evolution of it and having that the drone capabilities to start doing all this stuff, how do you think they're gonna like regulate it legally? Because literally, you can like you just chuck a drone up in the air, you can film anything. So how?
I mean, as it stands right now, for the most part, I believe there's restricted airspace on like most drone things. However, Amazon is developing a fleet, so that means lobbyists. So that will probably soon be gone. Um, and then, yeah, at that point, I think it's just they sell it off as, yeah, you can have your government chip inside of our Amazon drones, no problem. And then no one gives a fuck because they get to watch everything you do anyways. So
I personally have never been, and I don't think I ever will be, oh my god, my privacy kind of person.
yeah, I don't care
Because
either. But
in my like way of thinking is, if you're not doing anything illegal, who cares if they see what you're doing? Like, what do you think is gonna happen? They're gonna see what I'm looking at online. Oh no, you're either watching porn or shoe shopping. Again, who cares about either of those things? I don't understand why people are so obsessed with like privacy and whatnot.
I
If
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think it comes from a place of like the same thing with like the deep state stuff. Like it just comes from a huge distrust of government. I think that's where it comes from.
Yeah, but like, okay, you don't trust the government. What do you think they're going to do with this information?
Well, I mean,
What
we're
what
talking about the
is
same people
what
that
is
are
them watching
anti-vax.
you going to accomplish?
It's the same
Yeah.
people as anti-vax. It's just there is some entity out there, and it's scary, basically. Even though when you go to the fucking like to get your fucking license renewed or whatever, you're just like, these people are all retarded. They couldn't possibly organize in any meaningful way to conspire against people.
That's like
One
a
or two
fucking.
people, maybe, but as a huge entity, fuck no.
That's like that fucking picture I saw today. It's like, before the election, Donald Trump and everyone who followed him said that Joe Biden was old, senile, and would never be able to run the country. After the election, he single handedly orchestrated a mass takeover of the entire election
Yeah.
system.
Yeah. Like the CIA definitely does fucked up shit around the world and internally, but I mean, that's groups of like maybe 10 people type deal, like that actually know anything. If you actually had widespread government conspiracy shit, like it would be leaked immediately.
Yeah, the way I think is, if the government knowing what I look at online or what I do in a day is going to help catch like terrorists and pedophile rings and dark web selling people, then good. Because one, they're not going to come after me for anything, and two, it's helping everyone else. So what's the downside here?
Yeah, and I mean, so many people already do it already and just don't realize it. Like they're like, "Oh, this website's free." It's like, yeah, well, they're selling your data. Like it's not like they're not going to run a multi-million-dollar website for free. Like,
Yeah.
but they're just like, "Yeah, I accept those cookies, whatever. I don't care." Like, so they do it already, but it's just like when you tell them about it, they're like, "Well, I don't like that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the like news drones. We'll just call them that. So people, either the news themselves, throwing up these possibilities of drones or using like cameras all over the place. Do you think that instead of like I don't want to say like the right wing or left wing, but do you think that it'll be pushed more as like a leftist thing, like to help prevent crimes, like how they have like the hate crimes, the George Floyd thing, even though like they were being recorded and they still just killed the guy. But do you think it would help them more having these like either news drones or stuff like that, so that everyone's basically being watched?
Hard to say, right? Like most sci-fi's in like an authoritarian dystopia, like sci-fi things, or like 1984, like cameras are the big thing, right? Like fascists love them cameras. So it just depends, right? Like in if you just did it now, where cops have no, um, like they don't face any consequences for their actions, then it would definitely be lead to more of like an authoritarian thing. Um, and generally speaking, right wingers back law and order. Like that's like their big thing. Like they care about law and order more than anything else. So I don't think it would be. I think most people would probably resist it, but I mean, like I think it's inevitable. Like I mean, every device we own has a camera in it. Like you can't get away from it. So I think fighting it is just um, a waste of time, and I think you should just try to make sure it's used in the right way would be the benefit. Because obviously, like you can use it to fucking someone jaywalks and you pin them down and like take away their rights, and it's like, well, that's fucked up. But if you use it to analyze like when an accident's about to happen or something like that, like I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like you can go down the rabbit hole of like what was that movie Minority Report or whatever, where like supercomputers are like predicting crimes before they happen and all that shit. Like
Yeah.
it depends on how far you want to take it, but
I think anything that makes the majority of the place safer, even if it infringes slightly on a few, is the better choice, right? If you save 100 people but kill one of them in the process, is that not
for
is
sure.
that not progress?
Yeah, I mean, it's just obviously you can take it too far where like people don't have the freedom to do anything, right?
Yeah, it's the I don't think the surveillance or anything is a problem. I think the laws that they're enforcing become the problem, right?
Yeah, and it,
Like
as
you
long as
said,
the count.
jaywalking has. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, as long as the people enforcing the law are held accountable for mistakes, then there is no problem. The problem is just when they're just like, there's this group of people that are above the law that just get to bully other people, right? That's when it becomes a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what else would there be? Oh yeah, okay. So the stringers. Do you think that social media has affected that job in itself? Maybe like making it so it's not as sought after. Like pretty much, there's people that are just like, oh my god, this car accident just happened right in front of me. They're filming, they're uploading it, they're going live on Twitter or on Instagram. Um, do you feel that that not necessarily hurt the business, but made it
Oh,
more difficult?
it's probably tanked the market for sure. I've definitely seen like posts on like Facebook and Twitter and shit like that of news sites reaching out to people, be like, "Hey, I've DM'd you, blah blah blah." Like, who knows what they're saying, but my guess would be that they're buying the rights to air that shit.
Yep.
So they're probably just like that job has probably dwindled quite a bit because they can't ask that much if it's any unless it's like no one like in the middle of the highway or whatever and no one's filming it. But in general, anything that happens in a public space, I would imagine it goes for nothing because there's 800 perspectives of it, and Billy's definitely going to sell it for $20 because he was going to post it anyways.
Yeah, I think the demand's relatively the same. Like we don't have a billion more newscasts and whatnot. Obviously, we have the internet market now, but the supply's gone way up, which means that the price is going to drop, right? Because, like you said, if everyone's wandering around with a camera in their pocket, you get a lot more raw footage than people who are going out and just doing it for the actual living.
Yeah. Do you think the difference might be? Do you think it might be still feasible if they have like the proper camera setups? Because like if
Well,
Tommy's selling like this video of these cops beating up like 30 black dudes, but it's on a like a S3 and oh fuck, let's mix it up. Rita's got a giant fucking camera and she films it all and it's like crystal clear 1080p, like you could see every knuckle on this cop.
yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, right? Like a lot of those news people, like, well, that's the thing. Like in the movie, it seems like all of them are third party. I don't know if I've ever seen a third party news van. At least in Canada, they're owned by the network, which would make sense. Like, I don't know why you would ever keep that third party because you need to film all the fucking time. It would really make no sense that you would have them on like just full time.
I
But
think the only benefit to having third party would be like, oh, to like limit negative backlash. Like people are saying, oh, this shouldn't have been filmed or blah 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 blah, and they'll be like, well, we didn't film it. It was actually Timmy who gave it to us. We're sorry about that, and we'll not deal with them in the future. And then they just like change the name of it, right?
yeah, I guess maybe I don't know what it's actually like in the States, but
I have no
I've
idea.
definitely never seen a random unmarked van just pull up to a car accident. But um, yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like they would just have them on retainer, and then like I said, you can probably pay people whatever the fuck you want because they. How often do you get approached for someone wanting to buy your shit? Probably never. So I'm sure they get away with murder with like what they used to pay anyways.
Yeah.
Probably like if the movie is accurate and they're paying thousands of dollars for like a minute long clip, like they're probably just paying with exposure on social media. So
Exposure doesn't pay the bills. Sorry.
yeah.
Do you think it's more common in actual news or with not actual news but news networks or uh, like paper news? Maybe not paper news now, but do you think it'd be more better? This is if you're going into the line, dude, you're going into that profession. You're just like, oh, okay, I gotta get all this sorted out. Where would you go first? Like, would you just aim for online, or would you go directly to news networks, or
Like if I was
the
starting my own independent
yeah,
sketchy
you're
film.
making video production news. You're the CEO of video production news. And you
Yeah, I
gotta
think you'd
hire a
have
brown
to.
kid.
What?
Yeah,
Um,
that's the name of
I
the
mean,
news
I think
station.
you would have to go on the internet, right? Like, there's no overhead. You don't need to know anyone. Like that's the thing, right? It's like all of it would be, what's the word? Um, I'm blanking on the word, but you'd have to know people in the network. It's not like the way he just walks into the building and
Yeah,
just no one says anything. Like that doesn't happen. Like there'd be security and they'd be like, "Get the fuck out of here, retard!" Like so. I mean, you'd have to do it on the internet because you would just get laughed at and kicked out. Now maybe you could get like enough, like every time you um, had a story or like a film, you would post it on your website and then like on Twitter you would like at the network that you want to work with and just repeatedly keep doing that until they take notice, and maybe you could work a relationship that way. That would be the only way I could think it would happen. um but even then I think that would probably lead to like them hiring you rather than like keeping you as like a contractor, but I don't know.
think if you did well nowadays, well, I don't know, especially in the next 20 years, maybe not nowadays, but in the next 20 years, you'd make more money online too. Because, like, cable TV news and whatnot, once all the boomers die, is probably just going to die with them.
Yeah, like do any of us have? Well, you have TV, but like you
No,
mostly
we
use.
don't have.
Oh, yeah, you've like gotten rid of it.
Yeah, we have a TV that's connected to the internet.
Yeah, and then Zach, you have TV, but it's mostly just for like Crave, right?
No, I only have streaming services now.
Yeah, so like cable news is Omega dead.
I mean, I think cable is pretty much Omega dead once the boomers go.
Yeah.
Like, is there anything you would pay for cable for?
Yeah, I mean the only thing like from my mom, anyways, like the only thing she ever wants it for is the news in the morning because she likes to fucking check the weather and like when she used to commute, like she would check to see if there was traffic. But I'm just like, I think I finally got her on GPS tells you if there's traffic thing. So like, yeah, I mean we've just technologied out everything that it offered out, like, and it probably wouldn't have gone down that road if they didn't like fucking extort the shit out of people, like $150 a month for like you to watch Judge Judy is like insane. Like,
Yeah. I think
like
the only thing that's like fighting to keep cable alive is sports.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's just because all of their like well, I don't watch sports, but from what I've heard, the like DAZN shit and all that, maybe it's better now, but it was like a nightmare at the beginning or something. So they just very half-assed all of their internet
The
stuff.
zone's not bad now. Andrew had it last year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's not bad now. The games are all live and all that kind of stuff. So once everything, like, I'd rather pay, if I watch sports, $300 a year to have any game I want with no real commercials or anything like that than like $80 to $150 a month for commercials, and sometimes the games aren't shown because they're in my area or something stupid with hockey. I don't know, that the whole
No,
thing just was
the
awful.
hockey one is you get everything in your area if you pay for cable, and then you get everything out of your area if you pay for the streaming service.
The streaming service doesn't give you all the games.
No, you're locked out because they have agreements with the TV networks to show the games. So if it's local, then you don't get it on your streaming service.
Well, I would never get that streaming service then because that is literally a scam.
Yep. Yeah, I wrote them a giant scathing review, and when they sent me the survey, and it was like, "Hey, tell us about our product," and I was like, "Oh, here we go."
Yeah, I mean it's most of the CEOs are all like fucking a billion years old and don't like we're kind of in like a weird growing pains thing, like with streaming, and like the DMCA shit is all out of date too, and it's just like people just don't understand how the world and how the internet works now, just like clinging to the old ways, and they're just like, we're gonna make everything worse because we liked it the way it used to be. And it's like, fuck you.
Welcome to 2020.
We're almost done.
Yeah, and then we can get into a sucky 2021.
Yeah.
We're gonna be like, "I'm not vaccinating. Why? Why?" No.
Bill Gates trying to track where I am. Yes, Facebook can know my location. What? Get out of the pop-ups. Click a yes on everything.
I think for things of a global pandemic that has killed, I don't even know how many people, well over 1 million people now, saying no to a vaccine should be like charge you with fucking criminal endangerment. Fuck you. You're willfully endangering everyone around you for no reason.
Yep.
Yeah.
But all right. So at the beginning of this, we forgot to do our sponsor that Justin got for us. So Justin, what was our sponsor for the video today?
I don't remember. I told you I wasn't going to do it because my brain is going to be full of WoW knowledge.
Yeah.
Tied for getting the blood out of your shirt.
I didn't see any tide there.
But he had blood on his shirt that he didn't notice.
Yeah, she kind of just like pointed that out, and he was like, "Oh," and then yeah, there's more. Wow. End scene.
Hey, you want to
Okay.
date me?
You want some fuck? I guess we should rate the movie, yeah?
Yeah, we can do that. What did you think, Jeff?
Uh I'll give this one like a very middle ground rating. This is like a 4.5. It was relatively entertaining as a movie, but there was a lot of bullshit in it as well.
All right.
I don't know what to give this movie. I liked the pacing of the end of the movie, but the middle was quite slow for me. So yeah, fuck, we have all these middle of the road movies, man. I need some outliers to like compare against, because right now my worst is like El Tigre, and then everything else has just been middle of the road. I guess I'll give it
You
like a
had an
5.
8, your time travel movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it'd be like a 5. Just, yeah. Just because, I mean, it definitely, I'm trying not to dock it points for not following standard movie thing, because that's just like something I expect, but not necessarily something that it needs to have. So, yeah, I'm going to go with a 5, just because I felt it was kind of slow. Well, but you, Zach.
I'm gonna go with a 7. It did pace out pretty slow. There was a few things that bugged me about it, but the the way it was shot and Jake Gyllenhaal's acting, all in all, was just superb. So I'll give it a solid 7 out of 10. Also, I have a problem with your rating, Jeff. You said middle ground, and you went 4.5, and that bothered me.
Because
It's a
I
rating
told
out of
you that
10,
I
not
will.
9.
I told you I will never give a movie a 10 because that means it's perfect and cannot improve in any way, shape, or form. So middle ground for a reasonable rating is like 4.5.
Needed with facts and logic.
All right, do the math then.
It was a 5, a 7, and a 4.5. So that's what, 16.5 divided by 3 is 5.5.
5.5 out of 10 for this one. And it was also sponsored by.
Something about cunts, right?
Oh wait, yeah, that's later. We figured it out too. We went back and we reviewed. But this one was sponsored by uh, tap water to help all your plants grow.
Hell yeah.
And yes, we're all supposed to say cunt because in the two previous is the more people say cunt, the quicker we will get to Mars.
Oh, yeah. That was the reason.
I'm not following.
No, you
You
weren't
didn't
there.
watch the episode. You were migraining that day.
Oh, look.
Yeah, you had woman problems.
Okay. You were doing good, and then you had the touch of racism, and then you just had to dab in a little bit of sexism there too.
Oh yeah,
What?
you gotta check all the boxes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait, when was I racist?
You said you can hire a brown kid.
Yeah, because in the movie he hires a brown kid, and
It's
his
not
name
He's just a person.
who happens to be brown. It's a
Yeah.
descriptor.
A very good one.
I think it's an excellent one.
Anyways.
Stop being a cunt.